I'm starting to see why old people say fuck this shit.
Yeah, it is.
So, gentlemen, after a long belabored time away from each other earlier, we're back in business. Yo, producer T, I can't see your face. Oh, there you go. All
Right
right.
here. My bad. I
You
didn't
know
want to
why?
be rude. I was eating
He was
Chipotle.
he was stuffing
Okay.
stuffing his face.
Oh, okay.
I was
That's
eating
why he was
Chipotle.
off camera.
Yeah, he's skinny now, so he can eat whatever he wants without showing anybody.
I got you. I
My
got
bad.
you.
I was eating that Chipotle, man. Trying to stay healthy. You know
Uh
what I'm
Big
huh.
saying?
boy looking thin. Audience, are we recording right now?
We actually are. We're a minute into recording.
Yes, audience. If you don't know, since producer T is non-existent in the social webs, the interwebs, this man is skinny, bro.
He is, man.
Like,
I don't honestly, and like, yo, this is in no indication I am trying to indict anybody. I will keep this very surface, but I have not seen this man this small since he got off the line for Kappa. So
big
take
facts.
take that how you will,
Which,
ladies
as
and
y'all
gentlemen.
know, I'm not gonna talk shit about the fraternity, but I almost killed these motherfuckers when he came to the house and he was skinny, looking deprived and malnourished. I'm like, what happened to you, bro?
Man,
What
I was
happened? Why are
skinny.
you not eating, man?
That dog, that online diet of
Yeah,
Bro,
all
nuts,
like that.
and berries.
man, this man, his cheekbones were showing his shit. I was like,
It
I
was
don't need carb
bad.
cycling.
Horrible. Online diet. Everybody
we
knows
are
about that.
we are all too familiar. Even though
Nigga.
Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is a non-hazing, non-pledging organization. So
Well,
and I and I guess we'll put,
it's a non-hazard
and I
fraternity.
guess we'll put a disclaimer there because in fraternities there is no hazing. This
No,
doesn't happen.
it
You
does
just
not happen.
you just come back randomly skinny and malnourished. But we're not gonna say anything else. I'm just
All
saying.
right.
yeah, man.
But anyway, I think I'm
Shout out to
scared.
all the spring lines though, man. I do want to say like spring lines are the best lines. I don't care what nobody say. All y'all falls listening right now. We don't give a fuck.
I don't know shit about that. All I know is it's funny as hell.
All right.
Um,
But
uh,
let me go ahead and clear this up for the audience. I don't think I'm skinny. I'm just taking care of myself. The older that we get,
Yeah.
you
Yep.
just hear people our age having strokes and shit, man.
bro,
That's
look,
Dog, did y'all hear what happened to Curtis Blow?
yeah, he had to have an emergency heart surgery, correct?
what?
Jesus Christ. Yeah, man.
John
He did.
Singleton know him?
Yeah.
Yeah, and John Singleton, what was he, 51, 52?
Yeah, he was young.
See, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying, man. And you trying to figure out what is the catalyst behind it. And then sometimes it may actually be natural causes. You just never know.
But his
Did y'all?
family. I'm sorry, not to interrupt you,
Uh,
but
Yeah.
his family did state that they made a statement to. I wouldn't say that because he was unhealthy, but someone in his family did state like, "Hey, this is an example as to why you need to take care of yourself." And I'm not saying that he was
Yeah, yeah. I
fat
hear
and out
that.
of shape, but I think I'm guessing, I'm assuming at this point that what they were referring to was because he was very successful, very busy guy, and like a lot of people, right? We've built up this stigma that when you're trying to be successful, I don't sleep, I don't get tired, I just
Jeez.
grind
Yeah.
24 hours a day, and we
Right.
all know health is wealth. I don't care how hard you work, man. You cannot. You need to take care of yourself. Success don't mean shit if you dying.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, bro.
Yep.
Health is wealth.
Yeah. It is, and that's what I was gonna bring up is what his family was saying. So I guess both of y'all read that article that I sent y'all concerning his family and how they specifically said they were looking for black men to take better care of ourselves because with stroke and hypertension and all those things, those are things that like sneak up on you,
Right.
and being people of color in America, there's a level of stress that we deal with that that the majority of white people just don't deal with,
Right.
and that's our pretty much our burden to bear. So I get it. That's kind of one of the reasons why I want to, like, for myself, as I'm getting older, take care of myself a lot better,
Right.
because even as a young man, I want to say maybe this is probably pre-marriage, so I had to be under 25. Like I had got diagnosed with pre-hypertension before, you
Mm.
know, and
Mm,
and not too long ago I had got diagnosed with pre-diabetes as well too. And so like these are all things that like run in my family.
Uh,
So I know for sure for me is like, definitely have to watch what I eat, definitely have to watch what I drink, definitely have to continue to keep like an active lifestyle. And then kind of reinforce those things with my children as well too, because unfortunately, I'm just passing along some not so good genes to them in that regard.
right.
So yeah, man, take care of ourselves.
I actually had this workshop. Well, it's an all hands meeting a couple weeks ago at my job, and the focus on was stress. They actually brought in a trainer, and they were talking about the different types of stresses that people experiences on a everyday basis. So you have your normal stress, and then you have your negative stress. And I think it was like one more level of stress. I can't remember it or recall it at this moment, but um, they were saying, there's different ways on how to counterattack that stress. And sometimes you might even be stressed out and don't even realize it. She
Mm-hmm.
was,
Mm,
yeah, the trainer was actually explaining as far as body movements. Have you ever felt yourself being stagnated or just stationary for long periods of time? The body is made to move. So she was recommending that every 30 to 45 minutes you get up and move and do certain type of stretches because you're sitting at a desk 8, 9 hours a day with no movement, and your body was created to move. All your joints, your ligaments, you have to move. And
right.
so when and then of course I think I obviously told you guys about the book I always use, which is African Holistic Health by Dr. Layla Africa. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Talks about the specific ways of how melanin people are supposed to consume food, the different ways they're supposed to consume food, the types of foods that we're supposed to consume
Right.
versus European counterparts. Because we have to feed our melanin, because that's our actual gift.
Right.
Um, and so it's proper ways on how we should eat, especially when you get into the intermittent fasting. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously you have to prep yourself for that as well. But our bodies were only made to consume specific foods, and at specific times. That's why they tell you don't eat after a certain amount of times because your body needs time to digest that food. When I don't go with the daily belief that you're supposed to eat like 3 times a day. You
Yeah.
get depending on your body type, and Paul, you know more about this as well. You
Mm-hmm.
know, depending on your body type, you have to look at what's best for you and then do your research and really try to practice that. And some people get mad that I only eat sometimes like once or twice a day, but I feel so much healthier when I do that because when you're putting food on top of food on top of food,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't digest properly, you're ending up building rotten decay, which causes the cancerous cells, which causes the mucus, which is the catalyst behind disease or disease in your body. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Big facts.
yeah,
Man, that's so true, bro. Like it really is mad true. And we've touched on this before in terms of, actually much earlier on in our show about um just health in terms of even beyond just ethnic differences and melanin, just just even as men, right? And why physical taking care of yourself physically, mentally, even emotionally in men, it can uh, inhibit our ability to generate testosterone, right, which is our lifeblood. Um, because especially when you get older, like bro, especially when you get older, and it's so funny because we all like to drive our points from instances in our lives, right? So like I like for an example for me, like one of my coworkers, young cat, he I crack jokes with him about because he's a beast. Like he's in his early 20s. He's out here living his best life. You know, he's meeting shorties all the time, doing his thing, living his life. You know, swirling his oats and all that. And I make fun of him because he's a skinny guy. He's a small guy, but he's roughly my height, and he's got a little bit of a belly on him. And I'm like, that's not going to affect you right now, bro. But like as you get older, like that's just going to take effect on you because it's going to affect your testosterone. Like it's just going to happen. And it's going to slip, like especially when you get into your 30s. Because I can't remember who said it. I think it was a post on social media. Whereas isn't it funny how men can still procreate well into their 80s, and women roughly when they go into menopause around their 40s and 50s, they can't procreate, but their sex drive goes all the way the fuck up, and ours takes a nosedive. You know what I mean? So it's almost like God's weird sense of humor. Like, yes, you can have kids. You just want to have as many opportunities to do it because you're old as fuck and you're losing testosterone. Yet women, sorry, you're not going to be able to have kids, which is your maternal instinct, your instinctive ability to give birth. It's not going to happen after a while, but you're going to want to fuck for eons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for us, most of the reason is yes, we get older, but it's just that's why it's most important for us to take care of ourselves and not live this life like a lot of old heads do. Man, I'm too old for that shit. My bones hurt. I don't want to deal with that shit. I'm tired of fucking. No, you're not. You're just lazy and old as fuck. You know. You know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, and I think that's for me that's kind of important with having like young children as well too, and try my best not to make any excuses for them or excuses to not enjoy life with them. So for instance, like today, like I was doing something. I forgot what I was exactly doing at the table. And then Garvey was like, "Yo, Dad, come play soccer with me." Well, no, first he said, "Come play football with me." And so I was just about to make up an excuse. And I was like, wait a minute. I'm not doing anything, not anything related to the podcast, not anything related to work. Like, yeah, I can be in the living room and we can play football. And then after that, we can play soccer. And so that's pretty much what we did for like 30 minutes straight. And of course, the wife hates that because we just tear shit up, in the house. But at the same time, I'm active, he's active, and then we're enjoying stuff and just spending some time together. So, but yeah, man, we gotta do that, man. And I think having young children for helping me like continue to like stay active.
Well, they can continue to challenge you to stay active, but all I know is that my knees hurt. My knees, my ankles hurt. I hop out of bed, my ankle feels stiff as hell.
Yeah.
Like we are getting old.
Yeah, but you know what can help with that? With some of that, because basically, from my understanding, and y'all don't quote me on any of what I'm about to say. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a medical doctor. But from my understanding, a lot of that has to do with inflammation.
Yep.
And depending on like what you eat and how well you treat yourself are those different causes. But I mean, with that standing, you're just going to have your little aches and pains as you get older. That's just natural. But I will say this though, when I was like really strictly on a plant-based diet, I rarely had those like aches and pains in the morning when I got up. And I found, that I can sleep a decent amount of time and wake up like really, really refreshed and really, really energized, as opposed to where I have a more meat-based diet, but not also just meat-based, but a more starchy carb diet, especially those non-natural starchy carbs. And when I say non-natural starchy carbs, I'm talking about like your cereal, your bread, those things where not like your sweet potatoes or rice or grains and stuff like that. So
God, it's always the worst things for you that taste the best. Ain't that a bitch? I got a coworker of mine, man. He's listening to this. I'm not gonna give his name out, but he knows who it is when he listens to this because he listens to the show. Well, I'm not gonna give his last name. Fuck it. Shout out to my man Terry. He trained me at the job. Good dude. But I always get on him and I crack jokes because he does not eat vegetables. And
I know some people like that.
he's an older cat, and I think I want to say he's maybe like early 40s, maybe early to mid 40s. Dude, you still there?
I'm here.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I thought we lost you, brother. I was like, please, no, not again. It's like technology. Don't mess with us today. Today is not the day. But no, I always get on him because I've been out with this. I remember when I first met him, and I consider him an old head because he comes from another generation where just old heads have just a different thought process.
Yeah.
And for him, and it's funny because he was a major athlete. Like he played college ball. The cat is like six. I think I want to say he's like 6'4". And I remember him showing me pictures of him when he was in high school. He was hella strong, hella lean, and now he's a big dude. Like he's a big dude.
Yeah.
And but a good cat. And I remember he would tell me like he's like I don't do vegetables. And you know when people say they don't do vegetables, they're just simply saying like I don't prefer vegetables. I just like to eat other things besides vegetables, but every now and then if it's mixed in with my food, sure I'll eat vegetables. But man, I went out with this man one time and he had me rolling. We went out. It was me, him, and my two bosses. And we went out to this Mexican spot and he legit like moved the celery away from him. Like he just like he almost felt offended. He moved the celery to the side.
How dare you?
How dare you put that
of green items on my plate, good sir?
Yeah, he legit was like, I am just moving vegetables to the side. And we were in a chat with like the whole team. And we'll just, we would just post random shit like how we're doing throughout the day or whatever. And we were talking about food and different dishes. And he just came in and was like, yeah, I don't do vegetables. Vegetables are disgusting. And like like you're right, he literally had that look on his face like he felt offended, like when he saw vegetables on his plate. And but you're not gonna tell him shit. He an old head. He's like, nope, you're not gonna change me. I'm happy with the way I am. I'm comfortable. I'm not gonna eat any vegetables. And I know for me, and we've all done that where we've gone like time where we didn't eat fruits or vegetables. Like, yo, my body hurts, bro. Like I feel nasty. For me, like but then again, I guess it depends on the upbringing. I don't know. It's for us. I gotta have vegetables, bro. Like or fruits because not just because not to pass judgment on anybody, but I mean, health is hella important. It just is. Whether it's fast or if it's made from my mom. Shout out to my mom. She's an amazing cook. Love you to death. But bro, like I gotta have veggies in my diet, dude.
Veggies, fruits, lean meats, and taste is important. Taste is good. Particularly for like working at my job, man. We have so let me give you a little bit of context. We have a messaging system at our job called Slack. In Slack, you can build different rooms, just almost kind of like AOL chat.
Yeah.
We have rooms dedicated for lunch leftovers because there's so many lunches that happen throughout the company throughout the day, and they'll give you exact times on when these lunches will be over and the leftovers will be there. And it's like you never had to bring lunch at the job, but at the same time, some of that food is really not so good for you, but it tastes really good. And I think that's some things that we gotta have to, as we get older, discern like, okay, do I want my taste buds to rule or do I want my future self to rule? Because that's most important, is always thinking about your future self, because no matter how many miles you put in on a treadmill or how many sets you put in at the gym, with the weights, you're not doing it for you now. You're doing it for you tomorrow. And that's just, I mean, you can relate that to finance, and investing for your future, whether that's an IRA stocks, or whether that's investing in your 401k, or just going in and just say, you know what, I just want to play in the stock market. You're not doing that for right now. You're doing that for your future self. And it's just the same thing with health. And I think as long as we keep that in mind, I think we'll be able to keep ourselves on track.
So do you think you could ever be a vegan?
I was before, and I did it for quite some time. For me personally, I will really I can go back to doing that, but I would really have to food prep, and I would really have to find things that I feel like are really fulfilling, give me that give me that fulfilling. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Nuts and those are good, but I think I have to. I don't know. I guess I have to like look at my palate and open up my palate a little bit more to different foods.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think too, man. Like, God, I have to eat anything that has a mother. I'm just keeping it 100, bro. Like, if
It's
it was,
not as bad as what you think it is, bro. Like, I mean, I try to practice it throughout the week, but I gotta have like my Chick-fil-A on the weekend.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
well, we talked about it earlier, though. Like with everything is in moderation.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly.
You know, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, man, like I've seen a couple people on TV, but maybe like on 60 Minutes or whatever. Like they may live to 100 years old. They always ate pork. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Had a glass of bourbon every day and one
right.
cigar.
Or like that dude. I think it was a few years ago. This dude, he was like actually, he was about 90 years old. I want to say he was from Atlanta, and
Mm-hmm.
they would ask him like, how'd you live so long? Like, how have you managed to live this long? And he said some shit about, always telling your wife yes. And he's like, man, I smoked a cigar every day and ate
Oh,
pork.
I saw that. I saw
He smoked cigars and ate pork every day. So it was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, well, there you go. Clearly he's eating like shit and he's still alive doing well. You know what I mean? But it depends. But, as we stated before, it depends on your body. It depends on the
Yep.
person. And, but, I think too, man, ain't nothing good once in a while. Man, a nice steak, bro. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? A nice salmon. But
Yeah.
everything's in moderation.
yeah.
And even what we talked about before, when the technology gods decided to cut us off early again. T and I were talking about in Colorado, how Colorado just decriminalized the use of psychedelics.
Uh-oh.
Mushrooms, yeah. And same thing, like when I saw it, Shorty put me up on it, and I was like, wait a minute, I had to think about this for a second. I was like, damn, psychedelics, mushrooms. And mushrooms have a major stigma for being a crazy ass drug. But then I
Yeah.
had to think to myself, we've read that people who have certain mental ailments, they there are certain drugs that can help regulate and balance that individual. And people who suffer from PTSD or people who have like schizophrenia, real severe mental illnesses, a lot of these natural drugs can help balance them out. But the point is that it's when you abuse it. You know what I mean? If you're abusing meat, if you're abusing anything that you have too much of can harm you. Especially, for an example, if you're drinking only water and too much of it, it will completely flush the nutrients out of your system.
Yeah.
I mean, like you're gonna have to put it back. So you have to do things in moderation. And but again, with food and cigars and a lot of the bad things, especially the older generation, they came up in an era where they the science really wasn't that common for them to pay attention to it. They just kind of did what the fuck ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they just didn't take care of themselves. I mean, even in the 70s and 80s, boy, they were abusing drugs like nobody's business.
Yeah. And I think at some point too, like you have to, and I hate to say this, you have to experiment with your body
Mm-hmm.
and you have to go to the extremes to know what true moderation is.
Yep.
I know all of us have been in our early 20s. All of us have had
Talking
alcohol.
about, I'm still in my early 20s.
Yeah, all of us have had alcohol to the extremes that we know, like, okay, what my tolerance is, what I can take, what I can't take. So you learn that, and you learn that with certain foods, whether that's like I keep going back to this starchy carbs, whether that's shit that is modified. You know what I'm saying? Like, and modified can mean anything from potato chips to even protein bars. Those are all modified. They're not in their natural state. You know, so we have to go to the extreme on those things and kind of know, okay, what's my tolerance when it comes to this certain stuff?
Yeah, everything is freaking modified to a certain extent too, man. Even the vegetables and fruits, unless
Yeah,
you're growing those yourself.
yourself. Yeah,
Yeah, because I think
Yeah, broccoli,
broccoli is a crossbreed, and that's a perfectly healthy vegetable.
yeah,
right?
But
And that,
it's not a natural growing. Well, no, they grow it naturally now, but it did like it. Broccoli hasn't been around since the beginning of time. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like farmers were doing those crossbreeds in vegetables like 100 years ago. Like it was early forms of like genetic manipulation from like a very basic level. Like broccoli's not technically a real vegetable. You know what I
And
mean?
funny thing is, that's my favorite vegetable too.
I love broccoli,
I love steamed broccoli,
Yeah,
baby.
man.
especially like
Right?
broccoli florets though. But I'm bougie. I'm bougie. I only do
Oh,
broccoli
This
florets.
this
I,
guy.
yeah, I don't do the like the stems and
I got you. I got you. And see, I also like turnip greens and mustard greens. That's my joint.
Oh, that's country.
Yeah, yeah. You
What do you
you beyond me on that one there, bruh.
what do you expect? You know, but I will say this. I just want to give a special shout out to this actual generation, and our generation as well, just the millennial generation, because now we're becoming more self conscious and more self aware. Um, you're seeing all these innovations. You're seeing vegan restaurants pop up. You're seeing more people who are really cognizant about their health, whether it's having to do with physical health, mental health, even spiritual health.
Right.
You're challenging the status quo. You're not taking information as is. You know, your parents give you the information, but you're like, no, I want to go explore my independence. I want to see what this lifestyle is all about. So you have more people that are becoming much more well aware of veganism, or what it is to become a vegetarian or a pescatarian, um, to allow those, to have those options available for people to explore those options and allow them to change their lifestyle. I give it up to the people that's in this generation, so like just kudos to everyone. So
Yeah, yeah. Like I look at so at my job we have what are called snack closets.
mm,
And it's just closets filled with like different type of snacks are all for free. And the amount of healthy options and vegan options and options that have no GMOs, man, that shit just blows my mind, dog.
yeah,
And and it's like, and to your point, it's kudos to this younger generation that pushes for that stuff. You
right.
know, because it's not necessarily our generation or the generation that came before us that was asking for that stuff. It was, this younger generation who, one, want to take care of themselves, but and then secondly, want to take care of the planet. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the consumption, and we all know this. We know the facts, and this is not up for debate. We do know like the consumption of meat and the whole meat industry, like it ruins our planet. We
Yeah.
we know that. So if we could all can just maybe just go one day without eating meat, like we don't know like what that can do for Mother Earth.
Right.
See, and it's funny that you bring that up because I remember this might have been a few years ago. I think it was just floating around on social media. Like scientists had managed to find a way to, and I don't remember the exact terminology. They basically grew beef, like
Yeah,
pure
yeah,
lean beef. Like they didn't actually have the cow; they just grew it from modified organism and just
Yep.
grew it into a fully nutritious piece of beef.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the wave, because it is a scientific fact that methane does affect our ozone.
Mm-hmm.
And methane can be used as a consumable gas. It's just we don't have enough of the technology for us to utilize methane in a day by day use. So all that methane that's coming out of, these cows, because we consume them, whether it's from milk, which we're not even supposed to be processing milk after the age of 3 anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we process the beef, but we need those cows in order to eat the beef. Therefore, we just need more of them to feed beef around the world. And so they're eating all day. All they do is eat. They got like 3 stomachs, I think 2 or 3 stomachs. They regurgitate the curd, and then they re-eat it, obviously, and then they shit it out, which creates methane gas. But our generation is going to be looking for alternative methods to be able to consume protein without it having a correlating negative effect on our environment.
Yep.
So, and we talked about it right on the live show, like we're quick to knock technology, but when we use it as a tool, it can help us. It can maintain and or improve our health. But like, man, I'm just put it out there, man. This generation still has a lot of work to do to clean up the shit that the old heads did.
No. That's major facts, and I'm glad like a lot of this younger generation, and I'm not even talking about younger millennials. I'm talking about like Generation Z. They're pushing a lot of these folks running for office, whether it's president, congressmen, or senators. And okay, what's your stance on the environment? You
Right.
know, and I love it because not only are they pushing the left, which are Democrats, even further left. They're pushing the
Mm-hmm.
right more into the center, and now it's like for me growing up, it was unheard of for Republicans to even think about anything concerning the environment
Right.
or anything that industrialism could be affecting the environment. And now,
Right.
like, they're seriously giving it a lot of thought. Like, a lot of them still don't believe in climate change, but at the same time, they do know that there are ramifications to how we're treating this planet and what's going on. So, man, shout out to the babies, man. I love this younger generation and the fight that they have.
Yep, but us early millennials, we still got to fuck it up just a little bit more.
Right.
Because our generation is still in the middle between the way society was like during the 80s and before, and like kind of like what's happening now. Because it's
Mm-hmm.
like, dude, I'm not giving up my combustion engine. I don't care
Mm-hmm.
how great an electric motor is. I love revving my engine. I know it's putting pollutants in the air with carbon monoxide. I get all that, but bro,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm stuck between like, all right, well, cool. Let me have my combustion engine. It doesn't have to be a V8 or a V12.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a little
Mm-hmm.
four-cylinder turbo. It's a smaller, more economical engine, but I still kind of like my combustion. So, like I said, our generation is caught between like progressiveness and like don't touch my shit,
Mm-hmm.
don't change it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And but then again, we have to come to grips with the fact that we're gonna be old as fuck one day,
Facts.
and I don't want my shit to change.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We're gonna be stubborn as hell. Shit, I'm stubborn now. Fuck. We're both. T, you stubborn as hell. T ain't saying nothing because he knows it's the damn truth.
Ah,
Nah, you're not that stubborn. I'm way more stubborn than you
that's
are.
stubborn.
I'm way more stubborn. You're not that
Yeah,
stubborn.
you are.
I'm way more stubborn. I'm
You're a
hard
cancer.
headed. I'm a cancer. It is what it is. I've tapped into my emotional side more than
Yeah, you hold, bro.
I do hold a little bit of a grudge. Not that bad, not that much. When it comes to love and shit, when it comes to these women, yes, I hold a little bit of a grudge. I don't care. There's other men out there just like me. I don't give a fuck. I'm
All right,
admit to
Drake.
shit. I'm stubborn. I'm not gonna change.
All right, Drake.
Hey man, hey man. Shout out to Drake right now. He doing big things. He could be stubborn all day long. Shout out to T Dot. Keep it going, Drake. Be as stubborn as you can be. Fuck it up just a little bit more. It's okay. Somebody will fix it later.
uh,
It's okay. Um, But yeah, man. Real quick, man. Let's shift real quick. I we haven't done a good amount of nerd news in a long time, bro.
Yep, that is factual.
So,
Okay, so before y'all start this nerd news, and you guys can go ahead and shame me right now.
oh shit.
You're right. I still have yet to go see both Captain Marvel and Endgame.
You are a bum.
I
Wow.
am bummed. Right. So that is actually my plan this weekend because it's supposed to be raining the entire weekend. But you guys know I've been traveling like crazy. So
That's
this
true.
weekend I'm gonna be here. Well, I might be here. But needless to say, I'm definitely gonna make it my priority to go see both movies. So if you plan on talking about it right now, or I hope you guys are talking about something else, I'm gonna go ahead and drop off. So let me know right now.
Oh, you don't want us to mess it up for you? Are you saying you want us to take you into consideration right now? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. But you don't give a shit, so I understand.
No, we don't. Not right now. We have to go in. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Nah, I
I
mean
think
most
we
people
can
are.
I think we can talk nerd news without talking spoilers for either movie though.
Okay.
I think that's possible. Um
Well,
so for instance, so I'll say this. There is Marvel, well not Marvel, Disney has slated a ton of movies that are coming out in the next, I want to say 5 years,
yep.
and a ton of those movies are Marvel movies as well too. They are all untitled. The thing is, I don't think we will know the titles of those movies until D23,
Yep.
and if just to have everybody familiar on what D23 is, it's just a Disney Expo. It's like a big fan event, a convention where they talk about upcoming plans, whether it's movie, television, music, whatever it is. And of course, Disney owns now they own pretty much all of Fox stuff, including The Simpsons, including Avatar. They own Star Wars. They own Marvel. They own Pixar. I believe they own Pixar. Somebody write in, correct me if I'm wrong.
I think they do.
So, yeah. So at D23, which I want to say is going to be happening in August,
Mhm.
they'll probably be naming like what those new movies are going to be that are
Yeah, it's
coming
like
up.
no, you're right. There's 8 of them. It's going to be over the next 2.5 years, between May of next year and July of 2022, which I think we can kind of guess what they will be because
Mhm.
they've alluded to quite a few characters who we've yet to really either get sequels on or have even seen the first of that movie of that
Mhm.
character. So,
Mhm.
but I think they're going to start off real well with Spider-Man: Far From Home, which the trailer has dropped,
Woo!
and I
That was a
mean,
good trailer.
just when we thought, because Endgame took us on that high, and we're still on the Endgame high. Like we're probably gonna watch that movie at least another 17 times before we get bored of it, if that much. And
Mhm.
usually we come down off of a little bit of a high, and we just kind of the excitement kind of dwindles just a little bit because now that you've seen it, you know what's gonna happen, you know what's going on, so you kind of plateau a little bit, so you get comfortable. But when that Far From Home dropped, bro.
Mhm.
Shot all the way
Mhm.
up. Just another reminder of why Marvel and Disney's gonna take all my money.
Mhm.
All my money. That joint looks fire, bro. Uh
Mhm.
People were like saying, well, Mysterio looks like he's a friend, not a foe. And he looks like an ally of Spider-Man. And if you haven't seen the trailer, Mysterio apparently comes from another an alternate universe that was ripped open when Thanos snapped his fingers and all that. And
Mhm.
and and you watch the trailer and yeah, it looks like Mysterio is a friend, but then you got to think about who Mysterio is. Like he's the master of deception.
Right.
We know that his character portrayal in the trailer is not going to be what it's in the movie. The only thing that I hope is that it's not that. that he's a friend. I hope he ends up being a foe.
I mean, I don't know, man. He's a master of trickery. He's tricked a lot of people in the past in the Marvel universe. And I don't know. I don't have any expectations besides the fact that I just know this is going to be a really really dope movie. But as far as like what Mysterio is going to be, uh I don't know, man. I think what Marvel tends to do is they tend to throw us for a loop in their trailers all the time. They leave certain things out. They change certain things with CGI. So yeah, I don't put it past them that they're doing the same thing for Far From Home. So but I will say this: the one thing that I took out of this entire trailer was the fact that they discussed the multiverse.
Yes.
Nick Fury, for instance, was the one who had brought it up. So I think with that, that opens up so many layers, particularly with mutants can be brought up in there. Fantastic Four can be brought up. Miles Morales can be brought up. Hell, you can even bring in a different version of Tony, a different version of Steve Rogers, all within back into the MCU just because of the multiverse.
Or
So,
to
man,
even, yeah, no, and to even go even a little bit further for those who follow Spider-Man in the 90s in his comic books, there's different versions of Spider-Man. You have like Ben Riley, and we talked about it before, like the Jackal, right? The Jackal was a
mm-hmm.
scientist who got Peter Parker's blood and made clones of Spider-Man. So you had like Ben Riley, you had Kane, you had what's the Spider-Man from 2099? I forget his name.
Is it Miguel?
I think it is Miguel. So there's a chance that we could have more than one Spider-Man. Spider-Woman, Black
Mhm.
Cat. You know what I mean? We even talked about potentially more foes in the movie. Like um I'd love to see Craven the Hunter.
Yeah, that'd be
Man,
dope.
I'd love to see Craven the Hunter. So we don't know. We should see. All I know is that trailer got me geeked. I'm ready to go. And it comes out next month or end of this month?
No, July 2nd.
It is July 2nd because they bumped it up from July 5th to July 2nd.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't know. All I know is we're hella geeked for it. Um, can't wait for that. Um, but yeah, so we'll keep you guys updated as that comes closer and closer because we will be there opening night. Shout out to producer Chris for that hookup as always.
Mm-hmm.
Um, real quick, you want to touch on Game of Thrones?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's go in.
Yo, he's perked up now. So what do you think so far in season 8?
Okay, so I'll say this, and we talked about this a little bit last night, and unfortunately, the technology gods wouldn't allow us to be great, but the
Mm-mm.
god of light that Masandre worships, um, he was in the building though, especially for episode 3, man. But no, man, this season has been okay. I will say that. There's a lot of memes out there, dog, that is like a meme. It's a horse that's out there, and the end tell of the horse is basically seasons like 1 through 4,
Yep.
and the horse is drawn like beautifully. It's very very well done, and then 5 and 6, the drawing gets a little bit sketchy, and then season 7 and 8, the horse looks like it was probably drawn by like a kid in like elementary school. It looks terrible. And so like they were relating that to how the writing has been over this entire series, and I can't fault them for that. It's been really lax. There's just so many things that don't make sense. Um, I'm just glad that we're at the end. One thing that I was seeing that a lot of fans are talking about is that HBO just finds a way to fuck up the ending season of all their shows.
Mm.
And it just never fails. But I mean, so far so good. I wish this was a lot longer than 6 episodes. I think there's so many more stories to tell, so many chapters that you need to close before all of this ends. But Man, I don't know, man. We have 2 episodes left. Um, the actress that plays Khaleesi Daenerys, she says that this is probably episode 5 of this season. It's probably going to be one of the bigger episodes, and that you should probably find the biggest TV that you can in your care to basically watch this movie.
Big facts. Which we got that taken care of. We got 4K ready to go. Um, but no, you're absolutely right. And the 6 episodes doesn't bother me too much. And the
Yeah,
reason is because these episodes are like an hour plus long.
yeah, that's true.
So they some of them are like an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes. So if you add up that time in normal circumstances, yeah, it could probably stretch to a normal 8, maybe 9 seasons because they're like an hour, hour and a half. But like the thing is like when you have the number one show, I wouldn't even say HBO's fucking it up. And the only reason that I say that is because shout out to Charlemagne the guy. He made a statement that I didn't even know when I went and did my research. And that HBO, bro, like they hand out like $15 million an episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is like a $90 million season. So they have and they let the writers do whatever they want because for the most part, from my understanding, um, the Game of Thrones TV show follows pretty darn close to the books, and the books have don't disappoint. And so what's happening right now, I think, is a strategy. I think they bring us because the first episode was like and then the second episode went up. And then the third episode plateaued, kind of bring us down a little bit. And then the fourth came down a little bit more. And now the fifth is going to go way back up and draw our interest level. And then I would assume that the sixth is just going to leave us in a standstill and really have us wondering like, whoa, like, because I think they did the same thing when they said like Endgame, like nobody's predicted the ending.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think they know what they're doing. Besides having a Starbucks cup, we won't get into that right now. Um, I think they know what they're doing. I really do trust that they know what they're doing. But like Charlamagne said, and like they said online, there have been some shows where once the series ended, like it really just didn't do anything for us.
Yeah.
Like we were left like the fuck just happened.
Yeah. I mean, so this is what I'll say. And I think at some points it did mirror the books. I think there were some points where they took a lot of leisure, especially with
Yep.
certain characters from my understanding. But um the author never finished the series yet, as far as from book wise. So a lot of what we're watching is basically stuff like they're just kind of making up as they not making up as they go, but they're just kind of making up because they don't have any more source material to
Right.
pull from. So it's interesting, man. And I'll be one of those geeks, man. Like once this series is over, and whenever the author decides to finish like the series from the book standpoint, I'm gonna go ahead and read the cliff notes. I'm not gonna read the full book.
The what is it? The condensed version.
There you go. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. But we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. All I know is I'm glad I got caught up. And T, you need to hurry and get caught up and stop messing around.
Yeah, as long as you can get past season 1 and 2, you'll be good. And then as long as you can get it out of your mind who's a hero and who's a villain, you'll also be good as well too. Because that's one thing that I really enjoyed about this show is that for the most part, everybody is gray. There are no good guys. There are no bad guys. There are just levels of being having wanting power. I don't think the only person that I can say is maybe is fully good has been Sam so far.
I never thought about that. That's for real. Yeah. Yeah. Sam or his wildling girl.
Yep.
No, I never thought about that. Everybody has kind of shown a level up for the most part. Not everybody, but most people have shown a level of a questionable side to them. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to think if Jon Snow really did anything that made me question his interest. He's been pretty consistent. I'm trying to think if he's done anything. I can't think of anything right now. No, Jon Snow's been pretty consistent. He's been pretty good for the most part. I'm pretty sure he did something that I can't think of. But no, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or that character has the writers have found a really great way of getting us to really fall for that character, really love that character, and just randomly kill their ass.
Mm-hmm.
Like just when we really start, like I think Jamie's gonna die.
Oh yeah, Jamie's definitely gonna die. I think Cersei's gonna die.
Oh, she's
Uh,
getting her whole head chopped off.
yeah, the Mountain is gonna die. The Mountain is probably gonna die at the hands of his brother, the Hound. Or if not, then Arya will take care of the Mountain. Yeah, man, there's gonna be a lot of deaths. Grey Worm is not gonna make it, particularly after his girl got her head chopped off. Yeah, Euron. I don't think Euron's gonna make it at all. Um, what's his name? The Enoch. Starts with a V.
Varys?
Varys.
Yeah.
Varys is not gonna make it. Varys is gonna do his due diligence. He's gonna set everything up where John or Aegon, takes the throne. But I don't think he's gonna make it out alive at the end.
He's been the
So
catalyst, man. He's been the
yeah,
catalyst for the show, in my opinion.
yeah. I think I will say this though. Um, Especially since Bran doesn't want to be Lord of Winterfell, I think Sansa is gonna rule the North. She's gonna be Warden of the North, especially that if John or Aegon takes the throne.
I can see that. I really can see that simply because of the whole idea behind women empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's only necessary because we really haven't had, and I'm waiting just to think. I don't think we've had a really good female example of a good female leadership example, like a long-standing, besides
Mm-hmm.
Ned Stark's wife. She
Catherine, yeah,
Catherine. She was ruling technically alongside of
Rob.
Rob, and then before Rob, it was Ned, obviously, and then
Mm-hmm.
Cersei. Obviously, she's not a great example of female leadership.
Yep.
I can't. That makes sense to me that Sansa would rule the North, but as we talked about before, I really think that Gentry. Anyway, I really think him and Arya are going to end up ruling King's Landing.
You think so?
Because and the only reason
So
that I say that is Jon Snow and Danny, like something's gonna happen with them because Daenerys has been fighting for seasons, for years to get to this moment and to
yeah,
find out that the man that you're in love with is your nephew
yeah.
and he's the true king of King's Landing based on the Targaryens were the ones that were the real uh, 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 rulers of King's Landing until Robert Baratheon came in. But Robert Baratheon's living child is Gendry,
Yeah.
and for Jon Snow and Dee to go at it, something's going to happen there. I just feel like they're both going to die. They're both, and it would only make sense that technically the real true king is Gentry, because the last real ruler of King's Landing in terms of family is those who had ran it the last time. Because Cersei
But
doesn't
one
have
can
any kids,
argue that though.
but Cersei doesn't have any kids.
Yeah.
Her baby that we think that she has, there's no real proof of that, is in her stomach. So
Yeah.
she doesn't have any children. So in terms of who's ruling King's Landing right now, the Lannisters, it's just basically Jaime, um, Tyrion, and Cersei. Cersei's gonna die. We know that. Boom, done. Gendry is the only real heir to the throne, and
Not really though, because okay, think about it. So like I don't know if you go back to season one, it was this season one or season two, one of those two seasons where they kind of talk about like how Robert ascended to the throne. Like Danny's dad was the Mad King.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and basically they just overthrew him.
Right.
So I mean, you can look at it from that side where okay, just because he got overthrown doesn't mean that his children after him weren't like still true rulers over Westeros. Or you can look at it like okay, he got overthrown. Robert Baratheon was in there, and now like whoever comes after Robert is in there. So it's two sides. It's two sides of a coin.
I
And
see. I see what you're saying, but Gentry has no opposition because he doesn't even want the throne.
yeah,
While those who want the throne have to go at it to determine who's going to rule.
yeah.
Because I can see where, especially with what happened in the last episode, Danny's fucking pissed. She's pissed. She didn't want to burn down King's Landing to become queen, but she's about to burn that motherfucker down completely because of what happened to what's her name that just passed away that got her head chopped off.
Masandre.
Yeah, and it's not she's pissed. In the last episode, when you watch her walk away, oh, she's lit. It's about to happen. And so I can see where she's going to lose it. She's not only is she because you saw it in the last episode where Jon Snow was getting more love than she did. So she's seeing that. She's like, fuck, I've come all this way. Nobody loves me. So now she's got that burden on her. And now the one person that she really does trust, like fully, just got her head chopped off. So she's pissed. She's about to lose her mind. She spent years to get to this.
She gonna die though.
No, she's definitely gonna die. But I really think that something's gonna happen. I don't want something to happen to Jon Snow. It just seems too easy for him to rule. It just seems Gentry's the only one who truly doesn't want anything to do with leadership. He doesn't want anything to do with leadership. And again, I see what you're saying in terms of the Targaryens were overthrown by Robert Baratheon. So by default, the Baratheon family has an heir to the throne, but he wasn't overthrown. Robert Baratheon wasn't overthrown. You know what I mean? There was a mutiny. Technically, I think he was drugged, right?
Well, so kind of, sort of. So he was drugged, but he was killed by a wild boar on a hunting. Yeah.
Right.
So but he was basically assassinated though.
He was assassinated, right? And so once he dies, because he killed all the bastard children that he had were killed except Gendry. So he's the only one left. He had he's the only one because he hasn't had any significant relevance in the show until now.
Yeah.
For him to just die, knowing that he's come all this way as the bastard child and a potential heir to the throne, he hasn't had any relevance to a certain degree in the show. The only thing that makes him relevant and for him to be alive this long is the fact that he's the king of Robert Baratheon. I'm sorry, he's the child of Robert Baratheon, the only live child that managed to survive, who hasn't been killed. So clearly the Lord of Light wants him alive. You see what I'm saying? He wants him alive. And they always say, man, God always gives you something that you didn't even expect. He gives you what you deserve sometimes when you didn't even ask for it. So I don't know. There's a lot that could happen. All I know is Cersei finna die.
Cersei's definitely gonna die.
Her head is gone. Jaime definitely has to die.
Jaime will die. Yes. I think the mountain will kill Jaime after Jaime kills Cersei. That's just my thoughts.
What if Arya uses the face of someone?
That's true. That could happen.
What if she uses the face? There's just so many directions this could go in, bro.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let us know what you think, audience. Feel free to send us a message. Give us your idea what the theories could be. All I know is that whatever happens on Sunday at 9:00, Do not ask us any questions because we will not be available between 9
Nah.
and 10:30. After that, cool. We could talk about it. But before that, don't say shit. We love you guys, but no, not happening. But as soon as that episode happens, we will have a follow-up episode next week to kind of talk about it and see if any of our theories suggest what direction things will go in.
Yeah, man.
Other than that, I didn't have anything else, man. You want to tell the people where they can get to us at?
Yeah, man. Y'all can find us a couple of different places. So first and foremost, we are on Instagram at 4millennials. That's the number 4IN millennials. You can also find us on Facebook at 4millennials as well too. As I said, the number 4IN millennials. Or you can shoot us an email. There's Pablo the Canadian at 4millennials.com and also Duchala at 4millennials.com as well too. For myself personally, you can catch me more than likely on Twitter sometimes. That's Duchala, Duchal. I can't talk. Duchalla. And then on IG, Duchalla as well. But as I always say, don't follow me, follow Jesus.
That's what's up. Yeah. And we have real quick, y'all gonna notice some new posts that we're gonna have on social media. Shout out to Ryan Carter Productions, Carter Video, Carter Productions, whatever he calls it. That's what we will
Right.
go by. My man, yeah, we just don't know yet, but we're just gonna shout him out, show him some love. He put in a lot of work into a trailer, an 8-minute trailer that has some real cool footage from the live show we did with Doses of Doyen with Eliana Samuels, my sister. He put together a real cool video that he's finishing up tonight, and we're gonna just start posting it like crazy. He did a really great job. We saw an early edit of it. It's super dope. Music's dope. The pictures, the captions, everything is good. So y'all look out for that. Y'all get with him if you want some cool editing done. The brother's coming up. He's doing his thing. So y'all stay tuned for a really cool trailer and edit that we did. But yeah, it'll be on YouTube. It'll be on our channel, be on his channel, be on our individual channels. It'll be on Facebook, Instagram, wherever y'all want to see it. You will have access to it. Other than that, that is it. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Subscribe, follow, like, get your notifications. Other than that, it's been a pleasure. We'll talk to y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.